Good evening and welcome to Black Power, the podcast with me, Iffy Thomas. It is day 11, Sunday evening, and I'm so thrilled to share this with you. This is Mr. Frank Bruno. He is a legend. I remember hearing when I was very young that Frank Bruno, a punch by him is like being hit by a mini going at 30 miles per hour. Ooh, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of his punch. Anyway, here he is.
It sounds wonderful. Northampton Council gave us a property and we're refurbishing it. And it's going to be ready pretty soon. And we're just doing a 12-week program for people going through mental health that they can come to talk, sit down and get things off their plate and just recover and give them good advice, you know. Kids can go through mental health, women can go through, old men. Women can talk, men don't talk. Men are macho and don't want to admit that they're going through a mental health. The drugs that they're giving out are very, very highly addictive. Some people can't come off it. They say it's a licorice kosh and, you know what I mean, it messes up people's life. I remember when I was on the medication, I couldn't even walk up the stairs and make myself a cup of tea. Exercise is very, very important. Sometimes you've got to look after yourself. There's 24 hours in a day, and to put 1 hour out of that 24 hours just to try and invest in your happiness and walk, swim, dance, you know what I mean, yoga, meditation, try and look after yourself a little bit more better. And everybody needs a little bit of education. A big impact, because when I was in boxing, I had a structure in my life. I went to a press conference, I went to a training camp. When you finish from boxing, your hardest fight is going to when you finish, because I didn't have much to do, staying at home, didn't get lethargic, a lot of energy, and didn't know where to put all my energy was. So yeah, after any sportsman what retires from any sport, football, rugby, boxing, table tennis, they go through a time for a depression. I wanted to win the world championship and I wanted to have a dream. And I had a dream and I stuck to my guns, you know. My mum didn't want me to do boxing at all. She wanted me to be a preacher or a lawyer or whatever, but I didn't have it in my brains to work. When you're dyslexic, sometimes you drop it and your fashion, your style is different. I didn't understand what she meant, but she didn't want me to do boxing at all. No mother wants to see their son getting beat. She came to a couple of fights and sometimes she's in the toilet with her Bible praying rather than watch a fight. She weren't into boxing at all. But if that's what her son wanted to do, she would pray for me and go down to church, and Pastor Ramsey would drop some prayers for me that I don't get hurt or whatever. But my dad did. But my dad died when I was about 15, 14. So he didn't really see when I left school from 16. Tried a few jobs here and there. Metal polishing, work on the building site, work in Lonsdale Sports Shop in Brixton, and work in the bingo hall. And I just went straight into boxing. Just said, the money what I'm getting can't really support me too well. After I paid my mum her bill, get taxed and whatever, I decided went straight into boxing. Fight me or go to my head or whatever. I trained very, very hard. Having 21 fights, it was nice having 21 fights, but sometimes you got to go and someone's got to hit you back. And I did have a couple of fights where someone did hit me back. I had to dig deep and see if I had the bottle, the determination, the will to go forward. But yeah, it was nice winning them early fights. When you go into the ring, it's a different temple that you got to go into, which you don't know how you're going to come out. But when you go in there, it's not like football, it's not like cricket, it's not like rugby, it's not like snooker or whatever. You go in there to take the guy out or be taken out yourself. You know what I mean? And go in there, train very, very hard, get yourself very, very fit and hit him before he hits you. I learnt my trade the hard way because I didn't learn about survival. Sometimes in life you learn tricks of holding and, you know, if you get hurt, go down on one knee. I didn't know. All I did was train to get very, very strong, very, very fit. Went in there and just went from round one, come back and go in there, learn how to pace and get some rhythm and bob and weave and whatever. You learn them things later on. But I was very, very raw, very, very keen, very, very eager, not listening to certain different skills through life. I did put it all on the line, but I shouldn't have put it all on the line. I should have learned a few more tricks here and there, got a little bit more experience through the amateur. I only had 21 amateur fights, but I'm not making no excuses. I had a good innings, 45 fights, lost 5, and I have no complaints whatsoever. I made history. I won the World Championship. I only had it for 5 minutes, but I'd done what I had to do, so I have no complaints at all.
I've never really shared this about Frank Bruno, but I actually have been in contact with him about 2 years ago when my mum was unwell. She was a big fan of his, so I reached out to him, and you know what? He sent the most beautiful voice note to my mum that she listened to before she passed away, and her face lit up. What a gentleman. To have the time to send a message to somebody he doesn't know was wonderful. So I'm a big fan of Frank Bruno, and there is so much more to him than meets the eye. Good evening. I'll see you tomorrow.